The next full moon that is happening on Monday, October 6th at 11:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please adjust for wherever you are in the world. Will be happening on the axis of Pisces and Virgo. And if you're like, hey, wait a minute, isn't it in Aries like everybody else is saying? Well, this is true sidereal astrology. Sidereal means of the stars. The mainstream astrology has nothing to do with the stars. It is a static sky, a symbolic social construct that encapsulates those practicing it in the lower dimensions of our reality, the human world, the material, the light to dark, which is important. We need that. But there is also a greater celestial cycle that is being missed. This specific lens recognizes the varying sizes of the constellations that make up the zodiac, and we include our friend Ophiuchus, the 13th sign. This lens of astrology is much more accurate. It tracks about 95% of the time versus tropical, sitting at 75 to 80%. So if you are a soul here on a celestial evolutionary journey, stay tuned. We've had a series of sensational lunations over the last little while. We've really just been hit as a collective with wave after wave, inviting us to release the constrictive ways of the old paradigm, the hustle grind, masculine patriarchy. And that has nothing to do with gender. Men don't benefit from the patriarchal system either, because energetically, the masculine is meant to serve the feminine. We all come from a womb, okay? So that doesn't benefit anybody, no matter how many social justice warriors will tell you differently. So really, we've been moving away from that paradigm of using your head, looking outside of yourself, all these things that served us under the illusion of separation when it was eat or get eaten. We're moving into a more heart-centered, spiritual, expansive, and natural way of being. But in order to get there, we have to see some destruction, because that's just the nature of how things go, okay? In order for new things to be born, the old needs to fall apart, okay? And this full moon is really giving that. Now, with every full moon, we always have the moon opposite the sun, okay? So the tension between the sun in Virgo and the moon in Pisces. Now, this axis just in general is mutable, right? So it's flexible. Lots of flexible energy in the chart and in the collective right now. The idea is to be adaptive, be open to change, okay? When rigid structures fall apart, when they build a skyscraper, they build it with some give to it so that when earthquakes and the wind and shit come, it's not going to fall apart, right? So being flexible and being open is the key to success right now in general, but right now, especially with all of the tension in this chart, in the collective, we can see it. It's playing out on the world stage as well, right? And probably in your personal relationships and circumstances as well, okay? So Pisces to Virgo is the feminine, expansive, intuitive, spiritual, like the depths of the waters of the collective. That's where the moon is, okay? And the moon is acting like a magnet when it's at the fullest point of its cycle, the full moon. It literally pulls things to the surface for us in order to see them, okay? So we're going to be triggered by things that have to do with your receivership, your femininity, your intuitiveness, your spirituality, your ability to receive. I think I said receivership already. Obviously, that's important, okay? And then we also have Chiron here, which is our wounds, okay? In retrograde, so it's a more internalized experience. So this is a big theme, is like that being highlighted for you. And then that is pushing on or opposing the sun in Virgo, which is really creating this drive to improve, to alchemize, to make a plan and stick to it, to do things the right way, right? Like the way I see the Pisces Virgo axis is like bringing things from the collective unconscious and like building it in the physical world, like actually seeing it come into fruition. Okay, so that's the primary energy. This tension, the polarity between Virgo wanting to analyze, categorize, fix things, improve, and Pisces wanting to dissolve, surrender, and just trust and flow into the universe. Okay, so the idea is to integrate either end of that polarity, move away from the shadow aspects of Virgo that want you to get stuck in analysis paralysis. Virgo's an anomaly because it's an earth sign, but it's ruled by Mercury, which is a big player actually in this lunation as well. Lots of mental energy, which is not good during a full moon. Actually, there is no good or bad, but like this is potentially like really uncomfortable, we'll say. A lot of room for anxiety. You're probably already feeling it, honestly, as we approach this lunation. We're a few days away from it as I'm recording this video. So if you're feeling like anxious or scattered, or like you're thinking about the past or the future, that's probably because of this stuff all going on in Virgo right now and everything being pushed on. So get out of your head and into your heart. It would be the foundational advice I would give to move away from that energy. But like that's the shadow of Virgo, right? It's like analysis paralysis, perfectionism, and moving into a more heart-centered space of being as like your go-to, and then using the mental faculties, the benefits, the gifted, exalted expression of Virgo to really discern and make improvements from a place of being neutral or heart-centered, not like feeling like you're not worthy or you need to do more kind of idea. Okay, now we also have another kind of oppositional tension that stood out to me right away here, and that has to do with Venus, that is just on the cusp of Leo and moving into that Virgo energy at this point, which is pretty close to the South Node, also in Leo. So this is our values and this is our karma, okay? What we love, how we love, what we value, and then like what we're moving away from. So the South Node moving through Leo backwards, because that's how the nodes work, over the next 2 years is like bringing an end to performative spirituality, egoic leadership, the drama triangle, like doing things for the gram kind of idea. All of that is going to be like, you're probably feeling that already with incongruence or static that you're feeling from certain influencers online, right? Like people who are not walking the walk, like that shit's all going to come to light over the next couple years as the South Node makes its way through Leo. So we have that theme of like letting go of the need of validation, these old patterns of performative leadership, performative spirituality, the spiritual influencer echelon. We're going to see that bubble kind of pop over the next couple years. So we have that theme, as well as like a valuing or a need for pleasure and play, and like the benefits of Leo, like that flair for creativity, that bold expression of confidence and charisma, all of that kind of energy, like playfulness, pleasure, all of that is the gifted energy of Leo, and we're valuing that. But that is also opposing Neptune and Saturn, both in retrograde, which we're conjunct with now. They're moving away from each other. It's still pretty close enough that they're influencing each other in Pisces, which has been this dynamic of bringing a seriousness or a level of devotion to your spirituality. Saturn is the builder, Neptune is the dissolver, right? So like this, and this is a societal effect. These are generational planets. So as a collective, we're really bringing a new lens to spirituality, realizing that you don't have to be a weirdo to be spiritual, that you actually, like every single human actually just is spiritual inherently, and you can have a really mundane human life and still be freaking magical as heck, okay? So we have this like dynamic push-pull here. So we're like basically shedding the outdated ways of seeking attention, love, or worth through that performance and approval, while we are also having a reality check, right? So this is bringing a reality check as far as the nature of how you're seeking approval and validation. Could also bring with Neptune disillusionment, right? So you might be feeling a bit confused about love, money, creativity, how to align your values or this desire to bring more pleasure and play and like a flair for creativity into your life with the oppressive factors of the current circumstances that you're dealing with. So the idea is to, again, sink into your heart, get out of your head and into your heart, and the action that you're going to take is going to be based on that. So basically asking yourself, are you creating from a place of authenticity or from a place of needing to be seen or heard, right? Like, are you doing things because you want to or because you have to? And if there are things that you really do have to do, can you change the perspective that you have on them? Like, how can you bring a flair for playfulness and creativity and fun into the things that you have to do in order to build your physical reality and maintain your safety or needs in your current circumstances? Now, there is also on here, this is the next thing that stood out to me was this T-square. And I was like, wait a minute, it also looks like Chiron's involved, and it definitely is. This chart just doesn't make aspects to Chiron, right? But we basically have a T-square here, and then it makes it a grand cross, okay? And like a grand cross is a pretty challenging set of aspects. Okay, it's challenges all around the board, basically. Like okay, tension on tension on tension. So we've got fixed tension between Jupiter in Gemini. Okay, so the expansion of a new paradigm, curiosity, curiosity, seeking knowledge to adopt a new perspective in the world, pushing against Pluto in Capricorn in retrograde, dismantling the old systems, the hustle grind, the patriarchy, the external locus of control. Okay, so you might be wanting to expand your horizons and think, or you are thinking differently. You're seeing things in a new light, but the physical world is not reflecting that, or you're constantly bumping up against circumstances that are making it difficult to expand your horizons or think differently. And this is the key, is that remembering the physical world reflects how you feel and what you're thinking about. So you have to do this for a good amount of time in order for this to actually change. Okay, so you can't just crumble under your circumstances and what you're seeing physically. You got to maintain your faith. Okay, live on faith and fumes until the physical world will show that. Okay, so this is going to be that dynamic of push-pull between desiring a new paradigm and really trying to think differently, and bumping up against circumstances reminding you of the past. And then we also have this tension. There's a lot of aspects to Mercury, actually. Mercury's a big player, and even the fact that Mercury is a ruler of Virgo. Okay, so this is what I mean by a lot of mental focus, a lot of potential for anxiety or overthinking or rumination kind of aspects with this lunation in particular. And the full moon also makes us crazy, right? So don't be beating yourself up if you're having a hard time getting out of your head. Just get yourself, exhaust your body physically and get into a natural body of water, I would say. Okay, so we have Mercury in Virgo, Mercury's comfortable in Virgo, but it is bringing that energy of thinking about how to improve, wanting to make a plan, needing to do things perfectly. Even though it's mutable, there still is this kind of rigidity about things being perfect. Okay, so this energy is opposing Chiron in retrograde in Pisces, which I already touched on a little bit. This is wounds around your receivership, your feminine aspects, your spirituality, your intuition. Okay, so Mercury in Virgo is kind of no nonsense, right? This is really pragmatic energy, and this is wounds around your spirituality, right? So this tension, the opposition here, could be either bringing a more pragmatic approach to your spirituality, or conversely, it could be telling you that this is all woo and just give it up and you're never going to make it as far as the spiritual life that you're trying to bring into existence. You might as well just go back to the grind and figure out a new way to work yourself into the ground so that you can have the bare minimum amount of money that you need to survive. No, that is a terrible idea. Even as I'm saying that, I'm frick, I'm casting spells on whoever's listening to this. Okay, don't believe that bullshit. That's just your brain. Your brain is just in charge of survival. It just wants to keep you safe, and it wants you to do the things that you've already done. Okay, that it wants familiarity, and it wants you to not die. Okay, and living from that way of being will keep you safe and small. It would not be a very exciting or fulfilling life. Okay, so you got to let that go. Create safety in your body by taking care of it, getting yourself connected to nature, getting away from circumstances and people and things that create contraction in your being and force you into that more mental way of being. Get out of the head and into the heart. So altogether, this Grand Cross brings a lot of challenges, potential for challenge and resistance, but it does also present an opportunity for a really quantum recalibration of your thoughts, your beliefs, communication, and how that shows up in the physical world. As long as you can maintain that felt sense of safety in your being, redirect those anxious thoughts into the heart, right? Get out of the head into the heart and relax the body, and use that tension to really become the conscious observer of your thoughts. Choose differently, maintain those thoughts through faith and perseverance, and through that there is a potential to create a brand new reality for yourself, because we also have Uranus still in Taurus, right? So Uranus is the change maker, sudden shakeups, sudden changes in Taurus, which is the physical world, your resources, your physical surroundings, your body even, right? So we have this supporting this energy of Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, and it is also forming a yod, which you can't see. So the finger of God pointing towards Mercury. Okay, so this is really giving the potential for the messenger Mercury to be tuning into higher frequencies and channeling that practical genius, with the potential for that changing your physical world. The task here is to translate this mystical awareness, the experiences that you have in the astral realms, the knowing that you have that you're built for something different. There is a potential for a more magical existence existence that is within reach. And then the revolutionary vision and potential for change that is happening with Uranus and Taurus into articulate strategy. Okay. Mercury in Virgo is very, very articulate, concise, to the point, right? Like, it's not saying things that don't need to be said. It is being very impeccable with your word, right? So the shadow of this is potential, again, for confusion, overwhelm, anxiety if the insights aren't grounded. But if you can ground yourself in safety in your physical vessel, you could be speaking new realities into form, literally divinely inspired articulation that could result in a brand new reality for yourself. Okay, so overall, this lunation, just like in the past several that we've experienced, is really pushing you to let go of the old paradigm, the old way of being, the limiting beliefs and structures that are keeping you encapsulated in the lower three dimensions of our reality, the material, the physical survival, the looking outside of yourself and using your brain, the intellectualizing of everything, putting your authority outside of yourself, letting all of that go, okay? And this is simple in a lot of ways, but not necessarily easy, because these things keep you safe. And we've been conditioned to preserve our physical bodies over everything, which makes sense because it keeps you in the game, right? But like, you are safe and whole and complete no matter what. And by learning to calm your body down and turn your attention inwards, you can create this sense of safety within yourself that will allow you to tune into your heart space and make decisions from the feminine, expansive womb space that is your heart, the astral bridge between worlds. And from that place, you can create reality and safety and structures that will support you in a more magical existence. Now, if you would like to tune into these energies in real time, I am hosting my very first full moon circle. I'm going to be doing new and full moon circles in our brand new community, Soultivation, a conscious community for cosmic black sheep looking to connect with other humans living this paradigm. Moving forward, these circles, the moon circles in particular, will be for paying members only. But at this point, we just want to share the magic with everybody. So come on in Monday, the day of this lunation, at noon Eastern Standard Time. I will be hosting a live full moon circle. I'll be going through these energies, and I will be creating a ritual for us to participate in together in order to release, send that shit to the moon. That's what the fourth way teaches, right? The moon is a magnet. So during these lunations, feeling into the tensions that are being created and sending that density to the moon to create more space within your being. This is literally what enlightenment means. Lightening your being to become more spacious, to allow more of source to fill your being, the space between the matter. And this is how you start to exist in a more natural, neutral state. And that is where real miracles come in. So the information for that, you'll have to join Soultivation. There's a lot going on in the free community right now, especially because we're just opening. But moving forward, there will be a lot of offerings for absolutely no financial investment. And then there will be opportunities for you to participate in an energetic exchange and get more features. But come on over, check it out. Also, if you'd like to learn more about the specific lens, for me personally, I do have space for private students or private mentorship, depending on what you're looking for. That information is also contained within the link in my bio or the comments of this video. But overall, I would say don't crumble under the pressure. Remember that diamonds are formed under pressure and that you cannot grow and develop without challenges. Like, we have to have these sticking points. We have to have this tension in order for us to grow and change. Remember that everything that is happening outside of you is a reflection of you. You are not under attack. You are not a victim. You are the conscious creator. You are the creator of your reality. You have the power to change your physical circumstances, but it does not involve physically doing anything other than calming your body down and turning your attention inwards. And from that place, you can call the fragmented aspects of yourself home, develop an unfuckable with connection with source. And when you have that connection, nothing else is really, like, you're never really that worried about anything because you know this is all just a silly game and nothing really matters and everything is meaningful at the same time. So that's it for this transmission. If you're still listening to this, thank you so much for supporting me with your ears and eyes and hearts. Consider making a donation to my tip jar to support this work, and I will see you in the next one.